But to the people who think I don't care about my family, I don't care about my kids, look, I said it before, I'll say it again. Everybody gets to judge me based on what's presented, what you see, what you read, and then your judgment of my character, your assessment of who I am based on whatever information you have. For some people, that's 6 years. For some other people in my life, that's 42 years, right? My parents have known me the whole time. The new viewer to the show has only known me 6 months. They're going to have a different expectation than someone else who's known me 15, 20 years. If someone's known me 20, 25 years, like let's say Drexel's known me 25 years, but there are big gaps in the time that we've hung out. And in those times, our lives diverged quite a bit. We come back together, get to catch up on those stories, and like the camaraderie and stuff is still there. But the experiences are wildly different. That's fine. But that sculpts and molds how people look at each other. I'm not immune to that, and I'm not here to defend it at all. I obviously love my wife and children. I love them dearly and immensely. But people want me to make like commentary about them or about something like, well, in the situation, like what's going on, you're not going to get it out of me. I'm not going to talk about this stuff. There's ongoing legal matters. Those legal matters have to be dealt with before I can be out on the internet blabbing about shit. So no, from the deepest depths of my heart and soul, as always, Lady Rackets and the kids are my paramount concern at all times. And I do mean that. I mean, I don't think people understand what that is unless you've experienced it. And that's the way it goes. That's the way it always has been. People will judge you, make comments about you. You can be presented in a good or bad light, either way, towards other people. I wrote this to someone today. Let me read the words that I wrote specifically, because I thought this is in the middle of a message. You guys don't need the context of the whole message to just hear this. Okay. I said, I've never complained or even defended myself from how I'm presented to a group of people or perceived by said group of people. My role as a husband is to bear those wounds for my wife and also my children in a different context. It works the same, but not in this particular message, as I can, and to hold support and even carry her when I must. I will never, ever fail that role. There are times when you get presented in a bad light, people perceive you in a bad light, whatever. If you as a husband or you as a father are out there bitching about that, and I don't mean like generally making a statement in public or something, you're like, gosh, people are getting the wrong idea about you. No, that's not what I'm talking about. If you're out there whining and bitching, oh God, everybody's looking at me the wrong way all the time. And I can't believe that so-and-so would say this, that would lead someone to that. Okay. Look, it's your fucking job. It's your job. That's the role of a husband and a father, in my opinion. You take those things. Your job isn't to, is again more generally contextualized to personal relationships, but your job isn't to defend yourself. Your job is to defend your partner, your children. Your job is to sometimes take the wounds for them, to stand in the gap is a Christian expression based on, well, it's a Judeo-Christian expression based on an old battle. But this idea is that you stand in the way of those things. That is masculinity. And I think we forgot that. I think we forgot this a long time ago. But masculinity is being so like twisted and distorted from what it used to be. But the idea was that men did stand in that gap. They did stand in the way of things, and they shielded everyone around them. They were the protectors of their community, of their tribe, of their person, of their people, of their families, all of that. And so, you know, again, people can mold their perceptions about me based on what's out there, what they have observed, what they expect, even things they don't expect, whatever it is they want to do. It's not my job to sit here and try and correct it all the time. It's not my job to sit here and try and justify a bunch of things. Stories unfold over time in ripples and waves outward. And the time, like, you want to get really metaphorical with it and use math. As the story goes out from the source, if we analogize it to like electricity, lightning strikes water, like a body of water, as it goes out, each cubic meter of expansion is a cubed reduction in voltage, I think. And it's the same with stories in a way, right? The stone hits the water, the ripples go out, but as the ripples get farther and farther out, they're stretched thinner and thinner, and they space bigger and bigger apart. And so the story unfolds like that for everybody. The people closest to the story know the whole thing, or as much of the thing as they can. And then as it spreads out, it takes longer and longer to disseminate the farther and farther away you are from the striking spot. The problem with the internet today is everyone wants to move the striking spot to be universal. The striking spot is everywhere, and we're there in that striking spot at all times, but you're not. You're not. So people have this is a long rambling way to get back to this question of how do you answer and address these concerns that people bring when they say, don't talk about shit, but also tell me everything that I want to hear right now about this story. The story will unfold. It will take longer and longer for that story to unfold. Different parts will get to different places faster. And there's going to be a lot of misrepresentation that goes on depending on how a story is disseminated. But it will eventually be out. You can't accelerate that timeline. If you try to accelerate that timeline, what you do is you end up getting yourself into some bullshit. So for everybody who wants like the story to happen, you think the story is going to happen on a couple live streams in a couple days, and I got news for you. It's not gonna. It necessarily can't. So as for me, I talk about what I can. Always. But I'm not compromising anything, and I'm certainly not going to compromise Lady Rackets or the kids because someone needs me to tell them a story. Please says I can't control the narrative, so I'm salty. I hope you're not talking about me. I'm not salty at all about it. People want the story to come out right now, and for example, I'm constrained in what I'm able to talk about. And that's not like, no one's preventing me other than just wisdom. So with that, stay tuned. The story will out over time. And some of that story will have to be told in court documents. Other parts of that story will get told, in public discourse. And I'm not asking anybody to believe any part of my story or to make any judgments in some specific way about me. You got to see a lot of stuff said about me. You already know some level who I am one way or another. In your mind, your perception, the figure that you've built me to be is there. I don't even know what it looks like. I have an idea what I would want it to. And I know that what I would want that figure to look like versus what I have even given you reason to make it look like are definitely different. So how can I expect you to have the figure of me that's in my head and yours if I haven't even given you the same reasons to believe it? So I don't ask you to believe anything. I just say, watch, listen, and make your own judgments.